She stood in the kitchen, one hand on the counter, the other pressed flat against her stomach, smiling, too softly. "Why do you look so happy?" she asked. The kettle screamed between us. Steam filled the room like something trying to escape. I didn't answer right away. I watched her reflection in the microwave door, how her eyes avoided mine, how the smile arrived a second too late, like it had been rehearsed, like it had been waiting for permission. I felt it then, that quiet click inside my chest, the sound a lock makes when it finally accepts the right key. "I don't know," I said. "Just a feeling." She nodded. Too quickly. That was the moment. Not the test. Not the confession. Not the proof. That smile. It didn't belong to me. She told me she was pregnant 2 weeks earlier. Crying. Shaking. Saying my name like it was a prayer and a warning at the same time. I had held her, counted her breaths, played my role perfectly. Inside, something stayed very still. We hadn't touched each other in months. Not really. Schedules. Stress. "You know how it is," she said. I did know how it was. I knew because her phone never left her hand anymore, because she took calls in the car, because she showered with the door locked and came out smelling like soap she never used for me. Because when I did the math, the dates didn't love me back. I didn't accuse. I didn't ask. I watched. I listened to what she didn't say. At night, while she slept with one hand curled around her stomach, I stared at the ceiling and let the truth assemble itself slowly, carefully, like a weapon. You don't rush. I became quieter, kinder. I cooked dinner. I asked about her day. I kissed her forehead before work. She relaxed. That was my favorite part. When people think they're safe, they stop hiding. I noticed the name she never saved in her phone, just a number. The way her body tightened when it buzzed. The way she smiled at messages and then erased the smile before looking up at me. I booked the appointment myself. Routine blood work, I told her. Doctor's orders. She trusted me. That hurt more than anything else. The envelope arrived on a Tuesday. Plain, white, unremarkable. I didn't open it right away. I set it on the table and ate dinner across from her while. She talked about baby names, about the future, about us. I nodded. I chewed. I swallowed. Every word. Later that night, when the house was quiet and her breathing slowed into sleep, I opened the envelope alone. One sentence. Black ink. No emotion. Not the father. I folded the paper carefully. Too carefully. And for the first time since the kettle screamed in the kitchen, I smiled. Morning came like any other. Sunlight dripped through the blinds, soft and oblivious. She hummed in the kitchen, chopping vegetables like nothing had changed. I carried the envelope with me, folded neatly in my hand. I didn't speak. I didn't hurry. I let her bliss build, let her imagine she had time. When she looked up, I was in the doorway. "Morning," she said, a hint of unease creeping into her voice. I nodded. And then I set the envelope on the counter between us. Her eyes flicked to it. Slowly. Curious. Terrified without knowing why. "Is that?" she asked. I didn't answer. Not yet. I simply picked up a knife and cut my bagel. Clean, calm, intentional. Finally, I placed it down. "I think you should read it," I said, voice low, measured. No tremor. No accusation. No anger. Just truth, plain and deliberate. She grabbed the envelope. Her fingers shook. She opened it. She read. Her eyes widened. Her lips parted. Her entire body froze like it had been mid-motion for a century. "You," she whispered. Her voice broke. For once, the smile was gone. I let her sit with it. Let her panic bloom quietly in the space I created. I didn't yell. I didn't threaten. The terror in her chest did my work for me. Finally, she looked up. Tears streaming, mascara smudged, the image of perfection cracked and raw. You knew?" I shrugged. Long enough to wait for the right moment. Her knees hit the floor. She stared at me like I had become a stranger. Like I had always been a stranger, which in a sense I had. She tried to speak again. I stopped her. "No, I gave you time. Enough time to see who you were. Now you see it clearly." I left the kitchen. Not with anger. Not with triumph. Not even with relief. I left with quiet. A silence heavier than any confrontation. She was shattered, broken, unrecognizable in the reflection of the morning light. And I didn't stay to watch further. I didn't linger for her apologies. I didn't want her explanations. All I needed was the knowledge that truth had landed where it belonged. I walked out of that house like I had never been inside. The door clicked behind me, a sound colder than any word I could speak. And as I moved into the street, the weight lifted. Not joy, not anger, not satisfaction, only clarity. She had lied. She had betrayed. And she had paid in the currency she understood best, awareness. I didn't look back. I never would. I was free. Not from her presence, but from her control. Not from the love I once gave, but from the illusion she held. And in that quiet, calculated freedom, I finally understood what happiness could be, because I was not the father. And I would never be the victim.